What's up, y'all? For today, what we doing, we're gonna learn about brewing teas. Show you guys something about brewing these teas for your cannabis plants. So what I like to do is use the terp tea by Roots Organic. I like to use everything organic. You gotta start with non-chlorinated water. So what I do is get me a little boogie blue filter. Mine green, but it's called a boogie blue. You can find them online. It's a little filter like this. So this is called Go Green, and I got this one from a local grocery store. I forget the name of it. Grow Generations here in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So what I do is I start off with unchlorinated water because I get it out my filter, and then stripping everything out of the water, you gotta add stuff back. So I start with CalMag. So this is a complete macronutrient CalMag that I use, and it has those three numbers. It's N, which is the 8, P, which is the 5, and K is the 13. NPK is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So every nutrient you see is going to have an NPK on it. So bam, that's what it is though, is CalMag is what I'm really using this for. So it's more beneficial because it got more macro and micros in there than just the CalMag. All right, so boom. Then I go ahead and I figure out which one what I'm going with. Right now I'm in flower in one tent and I'm in veg in the other. So I'm gonna go grow in the veg tent, and I'm 3 weeks in the flower, so I'm gonna go bloom boost on this tea. I did a regular bloom tea last time, so I'm gonna do the boost tea this time. And basically what I do is I measure out my nutrients. I pH my water before, excuse me. I pH my water before I start. So you want the pH of the water to be around 6.5, between 6 and 6.5. Get you a nice little pH meter. This one is decent. I calibrate it on a weekly basis to make sure that it's right. And then you'll drop your pH meter in the water, swirl it around a little bit. It'll tell you pH. If you got a pH up, I use general hydroponics pH up and down. If you got a pH down, which usually is what it starts with, is down, because tap water is usually around 7. And then if I gotta go up, I go up. So I go pH up and pH down with general hydroponics. And I use a little baby aspirin syringe to do my up and down, because you don't take a lot. All right, so you pH your water. Now what you'll do is you'll add your terp tea. A lot of people use a cheesecloth. I don't use a cheesecloth. I'll just put mine straight into the bucket. However it has to be measured, I put it straight into the bucket. It's a 5-gallon bucket, so I mix it into my 5-gallon bucket, and then you gotta get you one of these little air stones. So this is like a little pump that goes to the fish tank. And what you'll do is hook it up, drop it in your bucket, and this aerates your mixture. That's the only way you can brew a tea properly, is if you aerate it. The aeration for 24 hours activates the active microbes in the tea. Then you put the tea into your soil. So this is a terp tea. This is gonna extend your terpene profile. It's gonna make it pop real good. It's gonna give you the good flavors that you're looking for. And this is not the only tea I use. So I use a terp tea, I use a compost tea, and then I use a microbial tea. And that's what I feed my plants all the way throughout. I also add different additives that I use. A lot of people see that I use terpenator, and purpinator. Depending, if I got a purple strain, I use purpinator. If I got a green strain, I use terpenator. But they pretty much do the same thing, so I use purpinator and terpenator throughout my grow. I also use this liquid fish as a food. I use that. And then I just recently started using this herb. It increases micronutrient uptake, so this is also really good to use. I try to use that in flour. I start using it in flour. They say use it all the way through, but it's kind of expensive, so I just use it in flour. And then once a week, I clean my root systems with SLF 100 just to get all the bullshit and the salts and everything washed out. And then like maybe every other week, I use a Recharge, which is a professional strength microbe super pack. And basically gets in there and wakes up the microbes, you know, a week or two after you put them in. They might start feeding slow the microbes, or actually living organisms that live in your soil that digest things in your soil so your plant can uptake them. So yeah, that's what I do. And I do this probably twice a week. Get my tea twice a week, some type of tea. Sometimes I do terps, sometimes I do compost tea, sometimes I do microbial tea. But yeah, that's how I feed. And also, you want to make sure that you always, whenever you're using teas or any kind of microbes, anything, you want to make sure you feed molasses to the microbes, because they eat a lot of the they take a lot of the sugars in the molasses and convert them so your plant can use them. But yeah, that's it. So now you know, terp teas, Overbrook Farms.